Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk About It Tuesday with This is Improv. Today, we have a very special guest that I am very excited to interview. It is Kat Kenny. Hi, Kat.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Thanks for coming on. I'm excited too. So, why don't you get started by telling us a little bit about yourself, a little bit of self-promotion. What do you do? Who are you?
I enjoy long bike rides and dogs. No, no, probably improv. Okay, first of all, I'm an all animal person. All animal.
Okay.
But if I had to choose, dogs. But I
dogs.
So I'm so glad you asked the important question.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's very important.
It is. No, so yeah, I'm Kat Kenny, and I am a teaching artist. I'm self-employed as an acting instructor, improv instructor. I do audition preps and speech and diction, public speaking, that kind of stuff. I also work for Arts for All of Palm Beach County for people who are differently abled, and I do choreography in the school systems, and it brings me a ton of joy. But yeah, I've been teaching children. I started teaching children when I don't know, about like acting about 12 years ago.
Nice.
Time is weird. I think it was 12 years ago. We were just talking about that. And I've been teaching improv for about 10 years and
awesome.
And I love it.
Where did you get your start? Like, how did it all begin? 12 years ago, when did you know that you wanted to start teaching? How did you get introduced to the arts?
Oh, I love that. So I was enrolled. I'm going to go way back. We're going to go way back in time.
All the way.
It was a dark and stormy night when I started dancing. I took dance classes as a kid, and I loved it. But I was so shy. So shy, like I couldn't talk to people, which I know is hard to imagine because now I'm just, and I was afraid of my own shadow. And we got to a place where we weren't able to afford dance classes anymore. So my mom looked into this acting program at the Burt Reynolds Institute for Theater Training. They had like a summer camp, and we joined the Youth Actors Guild, which we got free classes on the weekends in exchange for running technical aspects of their main stage production. And we did everything. It was like light board, soundboard, follow spot, props, run crew. It was a really interesting experience.
Yeah.
And doing that really brought me out of my shell. And I was like, oh, I like this. I can talk. I kind of started to like come into who I am,
Yeah.
And so then, I decided to major in acting in college. I got my BFA at the University of Utah in the actor training program. And went to New York for about 6 years. And right when I was about to leave, I saw a show at Upright Citizens Brigade Theater and was like, oh, I remember this, because improv has always kind of been there as an actor, improv games, improv shows. Like I joined Knock Your Socks Off Improv when I was in college in Utah, but all of a sudden it all came flooding back, and I was like, I need to do this. And so I went through their program and had moved back home to Florida and didn't know where to go. And so I reached out to Just the Funny in Miami, and they had some workshops like with Susan Messing, and I was like, what, in Florida? Because I was thinking straight up that I would never improvise again. I was like, well, I'm leaving New York.
Oh, wow.
I fell in love with it. I'm probably not going to do this. Really sort of fell in love with it and started taking workshops and met up with Tom O'Donnell in Mod 27 and just started making all of these beautiful connections and joining teams and loving it. And I feel like this is a long answer, but it's okay.
No, I love this answer. It's not even
okay.
More detail. Let's write a book together. I'll take the notes.
Okay. On a Thursday, I was eating pastrami sandwich. When I discovered
pastrami. That's interesting. And why that choice?
Because why not? You only live once.
Right. Exactly. I like that. You only live once.
That we know of. So I guess for teaching, I started teaching not as like this is what I do now, but as a way to help pay the bills. So after I graduated with my BFA, I started doing the summer program at Actors Rep, which is now my home theater. But they do summer camps, and I'm looking for instructors. And I was like, oh, I can do that for a summer. And so I teach, kids and teens. We run a camp, and I really liked it. And I was like, that's interesting. And I would come back in the summers when I was in New York. I had it backwards. I was in winter in New York. I had summer in Florida. And I just really started missing it. And so when I moved back to Florida, we started offering weekly classes for acting. And I just really, I loved it. And it surprised me. I didn't think I'd love it. At the time, it was just like something that I was doing. I realized that I'm good at it, and it brought me tremendous joy. And I just started doing that more and more. And I was waiting tables at the time, it's like the teaching acting was sort of just like okay, I do that on the weekends. I do that in the summer, but I was like a full-time server. And I said, I don't want to do that anymore, which is a hard thing to let go of if anyone out there has waited tables, because it's fast cash, and the idea of not working and just doing this full-time seems scary. But I just trusted that, okay, I'm going to be self-employed and see what happens, and just sort of put myself out there, and started teaching more classes for the theater. And different places like dance studios would want to start acting classes, and I started working for Arts for All of Palm Beach County, doing theater classes and improv classes and choreography for kids and adults. And it's kind of just how I make my living now, and I love it. I'm so grateful that I get to make a living doing that. That's never lost on me. If I'm having a hard day, I'm just like, whoo, yeah, but look what I get to do. Like, that's my day job, because I don't have regular hours, but it's the gift. It's
I get that.
Yes.
That's so cool. And it's so funny how life kind of takes you in this weird direction in all aspects, and you finally ended up doing something that you love, that brings you joy, which is so cool. And another thing that's so cool is, I've never taken a class with you, but I've seen you on stage, and you lift people up. When you're on stage with someone, you really do feel like you're on stage with someone you've known for a long time. Like you have this knack for making the other person feel comfortable. And that was not lost on me. Very therapeutic.
What a kind thing to say. Thank you so much.
But it stuck with me. So it's just so cool. And I could imagine being in a classroom with you and you lifting up your students in the same way is probably incredible.
Oh, thank you. I think I really, in life in general, believe that how we talk to people matters. Like how we leave people feeling after after we cross paths with them. And especially if we're teaching, whether it's improv or acting or audition prep or whatever it is, I think sometimes there's this thought that like, well, this is serious, and so now I can't play supportive if I'm going to tell you the truth. I got to break your spirit a little bit, or I've got to work for it, or that you're super supportive but not getting the truth. But I feel like you could do both. Like you can really teach an art form and protect the art form and give people honest notes and tell them the truth while doing so through a filter of love. And I think on stage too, right? If the idea is we're always trying to make people look like a rock star and feel like a rock star, then I think we're performing. That sounds weird to be like performing right. I don't know what that means, but like I think we're doing it right. You know, very important to me. That people feel seen and people feel valued regardless of where they are in any process. I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. And you live your values, because again, I see it. And I think we communicate more on social media. Even before the pandemic, we communicate. Florida is large, we'll say that. And so a lot of our communication was, or a lot of where I would see you was online, and just seeing what you post to and the support that you give others in the community, in the larger improv community as well, is just incredible to see. And the uplifting posts and just the support. I love it. I'm a fan.
Thank you. Thanks.
But again, it's the personality too. And I love your personality, and I'm stuck on it. So let's move on to move on to your experiences on the stage, performing. It could be anything, but I'm interested to hear a story that really stuck with you. What's one of your favorite moments while you were teaching, while you were acting on stage? What stuck with you?
Oh, that's such a good question. One of the things that really stuck with me as a teacher, I'll start with that. Something that's really stuck with me as a teacher. So I've been teaching like improv for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I, would teach adult classes, and sometimes it would be like an improv 101, or sometimes it would be, oh, we're going to focus on the game of the scene or that sort of thing. But one of my favorite teaching experiences, I have two. I hope that's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
One of my, okay. One of my favorite teaching experiences was teaching a class I called Playful Ensemble.
Okay.
And I reached out to improvisers in my area. Like you said, Florida's a big state, but like people basically like the Palm Beach County area where I am, who I knew to teach and perform regularly, because I realized that there was a class that I wanted to take that didn't exist. And I was like, well, I'll teach the class, and that will be like kind of something, the next best thing.
Yeah.
So it was a class for people who maybe don't always get to take classes unless they're at fests or that sort of thing. And the whole class was built on getting weird and playful and pushing bounds, like challenging each other and creating forms and just being really playful. And like, what can improv be? And it's something groundbreaking. I'm sure this happens all over the place, but it hadn't really been happening here. And it was a class that I wanted. And so it was basically me just teaching a class with my friends, taking it and seeing how we lose the joy. And that's the point of something that stuck with me. I think there's something that happens even if we love improv and we're teaching it well and we're performing it well. I think somewhere along the way we can sort of lose the joy and not even recognize that that's happened. But somewhere along the way it stops being fun, it stops being exploratory. We stop really discovering. It's like, oh, this form, this night, these people, this practice, this show. And so this class sort of, not just for the students, because we talked about it, but for me, made me remember what I need to do to always have joy in doing this, that I don't need to be in Chicago or be in Los Angeles or studying with big names. No offense to people with big improv names, like they've earned that, but to find joy and to push the envelope and to keep discovering. And so that was just sort of an aha moment for me as a teacher. That also led to me as a performer. That I can always give myself a challenge. It's on to me to have fun. But yeah, that was a big thing, was just realizing that I didn't need to be in a big city or on a big stage to just, I'm responsible for my own joy, for pushing myself, that sort of thing.
I think that's so cool. I think it's so important because I don't know if anyone else, obviously I think people feel it, especially if you're feeling it, but there is a point where you're doing it and it becomes, mechanical almost, and you lose that feeling of, you need a spark again. And for you to put the class together where it's like, this is the spark, here it is again, here's the joy, let's find it together. And to have that's so cool. And also looking at what is available and seeing, this isn't available and I need it, let me make it available for everyone else. That's so powerful. And that's it, as an instructor, that's so powerful, because of course that's how innovation happens. That you need to see what's missing and add into it, make it happen in the world. And it's so cool. That's such a cool course. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and I've offered it a few other times and it's been amazing. It was like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. I guess that first class, I think it was about my aha moment. It was like, I can do this forever and just keep, discovering and that sort of. And I guess the other aha moment that I had was I had a few of my students from the Arts for All of Palm Beach County. I told you I teach there. Those are people who are differently abled or non-neuronormative, and they do different arts programs and all kinds of programs. And a couple of adults from that class sign up for my improv classes that I teach privately. And just recognizing that when we're truly yes-anding and supporting each other, even people with cognitive difficulties, you wouldn't have known. It was never an issue. The entire group in every class just embraced them and lifted them up. And when maybe something happened that wasn't quote unquote planned, there was a mistake or something, watching the entire group just honor that and make them look like a rock star. It's really neat seeing what we preach put into practice, and that it always works if we follow that. That was my second aha moment, I think.
That's really cool.
It was beautiful. It's like, yes, this is what it's about. Yeah.
Turn off. Take a step back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are great.
You guys are amazing. Yeah.
You talked about the joy, which I think is so important, and lifting people up is definitely, I think, one of your coolest aspects. What do you think from improv that, is there something from improv? Is there something from your creative process that you find you use more than others?
I think being an improviser has made me a better human. And that's not like an original thought. I'm not the first person to say that. But it's really helped me check my ego the day to day. And I think this is answering your question. If it's not,
no, you're hitting it. And okay. It's a big thing for you. If it doesn't feel original, it's like, yeah, that's like that's your takeaway.
That's my takeaway is, I not like I ever had a big ego. It's not like before I improvised, I was a diva who's like, give me my cappuccino, I'll be in my trailer. Like that never happened.
Your story of being the shyest person.
Right? I was just quietly wishing for a cappuccino in the corner. No.
Oh my gosh.
I hope someone brings it to me. I despise it. It's not just quietly.
The biggest dream.
Right. But I think it's enabled me to admit when I've made a mistake. Because part of what really stuck with me with improv and what I teach is being willing to not be good at something, being willing to fail, being willing to accept mistakes as gifts. And it's something that we say a lot, but when we apply it to our real life, there's a kind of compassion that goes along with that, and relinquishing of our ego and needing to look good, needing to be right. And so it's helped me, I think, be more readily available to admit when I'm wrong, to listen to other people's side of things. I really do think that. Like, I just look back where I was and where I am now, and I recognize that most things aren't about me. Spoiler alert, nor should they be, nor do I want them to be. But like, there's something like anyone's reaction, any disagreement, it doesn't, if I'm wrong or someone disagrees with me, that's okay. It's not about me. Just like in a scene, whether I'm acting or improvising, it's not about me. And so I've been able to carry that over into my real life. And that's something that kind of stuck with me. It's just being willing to fail, get egg on my face, and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Whatever it looks like.
And it's harder to do. It's easier said than done. That's the right phrase. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So it's nice to hear that's your takeaway. That's your life takeaway, because it's hard. It's hard.
We want to be good at stuff, right? We want to succeed, especially as we get older. There's winning and losing. There's right and there's wrong. There's black and there's white. You're good or you're bad. And the world doesn't actually work like that. I know it seems that it does because we kind of preach that a lot, maybe not in improv or the arts, but like in society in general. Right. But it really is okay just to do something and not be good at it. And the more you do it, like the more you fall down, the more you trip, and you're just like, okay, and feel like you don't have to apologize for it. Like if you mess up or do something badly, there's power in that. And it gets easier the more you fall down, I think. So it's something I work on. I continue to work on that, just, because we all do have ego, and that's not always a bad thing, but it exists. We want to be good at what we do, and shoot, sometimes we're just not. That's okay.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So many missteps. I can't even tell you.
I think it's one of the most important takeaways, because exactly what you're talking about. It's so instilled in us. And sometimes it takes like someone like you, an instructor who's really great, or someone on the stage with you to say it's okay. Yeah. So it's really cool.
I think that's important. Like as a teacher in general, just to have a teacher say, I'll meet you where you are, and that's okay. Like, we go into so many situations, whether it's in a performance situation or like a jam, like, performing with people we don't know, or an audition or a class, and feeling like, oh, I'm behind, or I don't have this level of experience. And having just somebody like, you are where you are. We're always where we are. We can't change that. And just being given permission that we are enough wherever we are in our process. That's stuck with me as a student. And so it feels really important as a teacher and as a performer too. Just be like, yeah, it's okay. This is where I am. It'll be different in a week or in a year. That's okay. Yeah. Sometimes we regress. I regress. That's okay.
And I know we're talking about ego and we're talking about losing ego, but I think it would be really beneficial to a lot of people if they learned how they can take a class with you. You're on the actors rep.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and you have your own, you privately coach. So where can people go and take classes with you?
Oh, thanks. So I do my home theater is Actors Rep Theater, and there's a website, actorsrep.org, and I'm the education director there. It's a small not-for-profit, so it sounds like a big fancy title, like I'm on salary. No, it's a stipend, but I help like create the classes and the content and that kind of thing. And I do teach through there. I teach improv to kids, teens, adults, and acting classes and audition prep for schools of the arts and college prep and that kind of thing. I also have my own Kenny Improv page on Instagram and on Facebook, and I do a lot of things aside from the theater as well. And they're very supportive of me, and it's a symbiotic relationship, which I'm grateful for. But I teach a drop-in class every Monday. I teach two, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time and 8 p.m. They're each an hour, and it's pay what you can. There's a suggested donation of $10, but 1 week is short form, 1 week is long form.
Awesome.
And it's really okay if someone can't pay. It's really okay if someone can't pay. Even though you can't pay, you always get to play, and that feels important when the world is crumbling and people are food insecure and money insecure and trapped in their homes sometimes. Like, everyone gets to come and play. And I do that. I do coaching. I see students privately for acting coaching and improv coaching and speech and diction and whatever people want to work on. If I don't know how to do it, I'll tell you. Some people are like, hey, can you help me with this? I'm like, no, I don't know how to do that. If I don't feel like expert sounds like a weird word, but if I don't feel like really proficient and expert in an area, I'll pass it on to another qualified human.
Another qualified human. And are you doing any virtual performances? Are you? Yeah.
I have been doing not a lot, not a ton. I've done some Improv Fest, the Palm Beach Improv Fest, which was virtual with Improv U, and the Countdown Improv Fest with Kelly and Justin. I did some stuff with Skyline Improv in Utah. But aside from that, I'm keeping a pretty low profile. Like Jeff Quintana and I have done a few performances of our duo Understated. Friends with Benefits with Stu, Dean, and Nate. We'll sometimes do a little Zoom show. Like, it's free. We just kind of go on. It's more short formy game stuff. Something I have been doing that's really fun is 10-minute sets with people from around the world, like in the country and different places. I love that. Sometimes they get filmed, sometimes they don't. But that's really fun to have a chance to play with different people. So
that's really cool.
What I'm doing. Yeah.
Nice. I like what you're doing. It's nice.
Fun.
And before we wrap up for the day, I need to know, what is one thing about you that no one would be able to tell without, or just by looking at you?
Okay. Some people know this.
Okay.
Some people, a select private group of people know. Okay. But I can talk backwards, and it is the dumbest human trick. But I can say any sentence or paragraph backwards I can remember. I say the whole sentence backwards phonetically by syllable. And I've been able to do it since I was like 7. So like, my name is Kathleen Kenny.
Yeah.
Maximanium. Kenny Kathleen is name Mai. Kenny is Enoch. Kathleen is Nilthak. Name is Mien. I legit just reverse the way it said forward.
Okay. What if I said, I'm going to throw a challenge at you?
Do it.
Okay, great.
I'm nervous. Okay, go.
Okay, I'm nervous too. I'm just throwing this at you. Okay. I drove to McDonald's and ate in my car.
I got you.
Okay.
I drove to McDonald's and 8 in my car. Rakyan nitne dinajla nad kimwut vod ya.
That is so cool.
Now, if you play it backwards, because I have like like I said, I teach kids, they'll be like, Miss Cat, I don't believe you. And they'll do that filter on Snapchat where you talk backwards. And so I'll talk backwards into that and they play it. It sounds like I have this weird alien accent. It's like, I drove to McDonald's and ate in the car. Like, it's weird, but it
So
works.
funny.
It works. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm not
There's
good at math. So don't ask me a math number, a math equation.
Yeah. Words and numbers are completely different.
So
different. People don't understand. People who know numbers don't understand, but we understand. No. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you for telling us the thing about you that no one knows unless they had to ask you. We know there's evidence out there that you can speak back. If you want to play this video on reverse, you'll hear the words. And thank you so much for telling us about your story and telling us about your classes as well and the troops that you're a part of, that we can watch you have fun and spread the joy of improv with others. Thank you so much, Kat.
Thank you. I had a great time. Thanks so much.
And thank you everyone for watching. This has been Talk About It Tuesday with This Is Improv. Please subscribe and like this video below so that we know that you're watching and that you're enjoying this, and we can make more videos of wonderful people like Kat and tell their stories to you. Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye.